Welcome to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. Brought to you by Friend Entertainment USA, producing the best concerts for charities and corporations for over 30 years. And CBMS Consulting Services, control your business before it controls you. In association with Area 22 Productions, your multimedia streaming network. Now, here is Darren and the Music Man.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Thanksgiving edition. Yummy.
Yummy.
All right,
Yeah,
I can see that,
we're already starting
that
with
pies and everything tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, here we are tonight, the night before Thanksgiving. We have a very, very interesting show, considering that tomorrow is Thanksgiving. It will help a lot of people.
It's not only that, we're coming into the holiday season, right?
Tis the season.
Well, here's the thing. Black Friday is starting tomorrow.
Black Thursday, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I hear all of these stores advertising, we're open tomorrow.
They're open today. They were doing Black Friday.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But you know what? I hate this time of the year because I always gain weight, and then it takes me forever to get it off. Yeah, you eat a lot. I eat wrong.
Well, we have somebody here that can help you.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it was one of those things. It's like, okay, now January comes, I start going, okay, I got to go on a diet.
Why wait to January?
Why wait to January, right? But we got 45 million people in America are always on a diet.
Name me one.
All right. I can name you 100.
All right, give me 100.
Right? People spend over $40 billion on diet foods.
Not me.
And diets. Yeah, I know you don't. All right? But here's the thing.
I did.
As you know, when I do my coaching, right, and I work with businesses, it's all about mindset. It's about changing the way you think about how you do things and making adjustments and small adjustments. Mm-hmm. And I talked about that. You know, we do that with business, and as a pilot, I always say,
and you got to do it in your personal life as well.
You never make drastic adjustments to when you're flying. When you run into problems, you make small adjustments, right? It's always about the small adjustments and getting back on course. But tonight we have somebody here who
can help.
But nutritionally.
Can't do it for you.
No.
But can help you.
Listen, just as a business coach, I can't change somebody's business. Somebody's got to change themselves in order for them to change a business. I can help them change.
But she has such a great business and a great way of introducing the business to people that come through her door.
Her business.
That it works. She's very successable.
Is teaching people what I teach people how to do with their business, but they got to do it with themselves.
All right, enough with us. Why don't we introduce her?
So we have with us today Michelle Blum. All right, she's a nutritionist. That's
B-L-U-M, and that's Michelle.
Michelle Blum, right? She's a nutritionist. She created a business called Nutrish Mish, right?
Nutrish Mish.
Nutrish Mish.
M-I-S-H.
Okay, fantastic concept. It's actually, I sitting down and interviewing her, I went nuts over this thing because it's really all about what we do in coaching and things like that. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit about Nutrish Mish, what it's all about, and how you got started.
Sure, and I love that we, by accident, chose the day before Thanksgiving to do this.
Yeah, that worked out so well,
right.
didn't it?
We'll pretend we did it on purpose.
Yes, exactly.
We planned it that way.
Yeah, we'll pretend we did. So Nutrish Mish, I started 6 years ago, and I started because I noticed growing up, my dad was constantly on all these different diets, and I noticed they work in a sense where, he would lose weight, but they wouldn't work in a sense where he would be in a position where he could keep it off.
Right.
So I remember being really fascinated with this growing up, and I, went to school for nutrition and everything. And when I started working in the field, I was very I didn't like the way that things were done. It was the same old thing.
Let me interrupt you for a second.
Sure.
When you were a little girl and Dad was gaining weight and losing weight and whatever, did you say to yourself at that time, I'm going to do something so people like my dad won't have to go through this? Or did you continue playing, hopscotch and those other kind of games as a kid?
I wasn't so much a hopscotch person, but it didn't really
Basketball?
click to me. No, I was a dancer or something.
You were a dancer,
yeah.
Okay.
So it didn't really click to me that was a problem. Until I got older, and I really kind of saw it as I got older. When I was younger, that was just my norm. So I thought that was the way that things had to be. So when I started Nutrish Mish, which I just started as like a side hustle kind of thing, I did it totally different from how I was taught in school and totally different from how other people did it. And when I was 23, we actually got great success from it. So
well, let me stop you there.
Sure.
Right? What made you say, you know what, I can't do it the way everybody else is doing it? What made you say that?
Everyone defines work in the nutrition and weight loss and diet industry as, I lost weight. So I'll have people come into my office and they'll say, oh, but so-and-so, it worked for me. And I say, well, what do you mean by that? And they'll say, well, when I followed it, I lost weight. And I was like, great, but I define success by did you keep it off?
Right.
So in my eyes, if you didn't keep it off, it didn't work.
Because it's like, and again, I'm going to compare tonight. I'm going to use a lot of comparatives to what we do. I get a lot of business owners, and they go on these weekends or these, like I'm going to this seminar, and they come back from the seminar and they got this notebook and they go, yes, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and they either never get to implement anything that's in the book, or they start doing it and then they fall back into their old ways of doing it,
right?
Because they were never told how to transition from the old to the new, right?
So the analogy I use, you might want to steal this, is when I was younger, I never kept my room clean, right? Sorry, Mom, I still kind of don't, if I'm being honest.
Is it clean now?
Not really. But so it was just something so what I would do is my room would get really, really messy, and it would be so that my mom would be like, you know what, like you're not going out, you're not doing anything until it's cleaned. So I'd do this like big cleanup, this big sweep, but what I didn't do is I never put systems in place to ensure that it would stay clean.
Right.
So I could do the big cleanup, but then it just got progressively messier again. I was in the cycle. And, I'm sure with businesses and with people who are trying to lose weight, they do this big cleanup. They make this drastic 180 change. They go on a diet, but they don't put the systems in place to keep them there.
Which, as you know, could probably be the worst thing that they can do.
Oh, yes.
Because they're it's like you're cleaning house.
Yeah.
Not always a bad thing, but if you don't take those steps to modify your behavior, it's not going to work.
Correct.
And then you use different products to clean your house, and then you're using different products to to fix your business.
Right.
And then everything gets all confused.
Yeah.
And that becomes the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's all about systems.
Yes.
And putting the right systems in place. So that's how you came up with that concept. So you were working with people as a nutritionist in a traditional sense, and you weren't seeing the results that you thought really should be happening.
That they should have.
Because you saw it with your dad. You saw your dad balloon up and down,
Yeah.
up and down. Because we've all done it. Well, you don't remember. You're too young. But like when Atkins first came out.
I'm not too young for that,
right.
unfortunately.
Right, yeah. When Atkins first came out, it was just throw the bread away, eat all the meat you want, lose all the weight.
There was a lot of cheesecake in my house at that time.
a lot
I
of
remember.
cheesecake.
Yeah.
So you could do all
Pork
of those
chops,
things.
kinds of stuff.
Bacon.
And you would lose
Yeah.
all the weight, but there was always a trade-off.
Yeah.
Health-wise, and they realized, okay, maybe it's not good that you just throw away all the bread, and maybe it's not good that you eliminate certain things. And then people would be, I lost all the weight, so now I'm going to start eating normal again.
Yes.
And before you know it, they have
You're back
all
where
of
you
their
were.
weight plus back on, right?
Yep. Very, very true.
So that's a lot of what we do. So,
But it's all here.
Yes.
And that's part of what your program is to not lecture, but talk to your potential applicants and people that join about the right things to do for yourself to eat and things not to eat. Like I know that your very special food is sweet potato fries. Okay?
I do
now,
like
whether you still eat them or not, because you don't look like you eat them.
I do.
You do eat them.
okay. So
But that's fair.
Let's do it this way, if we could. If somebody wanted to get a hold of you and they wanted you to do an assessment, because that's what you'll start out with, right?
Sure,
You'll do an assessment and you'll start working with them. Just like I do with my clients. I sit down with them and we go through a whole questionnaire and we do that. How are they going to get in touch with you?
So if they're looking to make an appointment, we're really easy to get a hold of. So you can go to our website, which is nutrishmish.com, nutrishmish.com. And there's a little chat box there, and you could just click on it and say that you want to set up your first appointment. And it's a robot, but it works creepily well. Welcome to 2018. You could also give us a call. Our phone number is 516-813-6698, and extension 2 is for new clients.
Repeat your number again.
516-813-6698. You could find us on social media. You can message us, send a carrier pigeon, whatever. We will get back in touch with you. We're easy to get a hold of.
You have a great website.
Thank you.
And for people to go on there, just to take a look at it and read it and see the different options and read the blogs and see the testimonials.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love what I do. I really do.
Okay, so Michelle, I'm going to make an appointment, right?
Sure.
So I make an appointment, I call up, okay, I'm going to meet now with you or one of your specialists. Yep. And, you have 6 locations that you can do this at,
yes.
right?
Or they could do it online. We have a virtual concierge service, so we actually see people all over the country.
Okay, so you can do it all over the country. You can do this. This is fantastic. In this day and age with the technology,
it's great.
It's easy to do it like that. So, say now I live on Long Island and you're on Long Island, so if I wanted to go to one of your locations, I'd call you up and say I want to make an appointment. And you would sit down with me now and go through the process. So talk to me about the process.
So if you come to us now with the process, you're getting the benefit of very, very many nights and years at this point of me trying to find this perfect system, and I think we have it down pretty well right now. And no matter if you see me or we call ourselves nutritionistas, one of my nutritionistas.
Nutritionistas.
Thank you. It's going to be the same experience no matter who you see, which is great. So we do have that continuity. And when you come in, what we're going to do is we're going to see where you're starting off in the process, because everyone's going to start off on a different place. So we're going to kind of see where you are, and then we set up where you want to be, and then we just kind of create this path for you. So the goal is, by the time that you're done with our program, eating healthfully is just as natural as brushing your teeth or showering. It's just not something that you have to think about. That being said, in the beginning, it's work, it's conscious effort, but I know people who have, done this their whole life, you know what I mean? Right. So to do this for 40, 50 years, if you have to invest a little bit of time, but then at the end, you never have to do this again. I mean, it's a great investment of time.
How many nutritionistas do you have?
Nutritionista.
Nutritionista.
Right.
Okay, good job. We have six people working for us.
Any Nutriristos?
No, but I would love to get one. It's just worked out that way.
So you gotta have a guy.
So
I know.
wait, so let's if we could simulate me coming in.
Sure.
What type of questions are you asking me now?
So we want to get an idea of, your history. So a lot of people come in, some people come in, I should say, and they just really don't know what to do. They really don't know what to eat. Most people come in and they know exactly what they should be doing. They just don't.
Right.
So we're trying to, kind of see, okay, are you somebody who has a good relationship with food? Do you like to cook? Do you have what I call non-negotiables, which are wine?
So what's a good relationship with food? See, I'm what you call, I would think I'm not a person that has a good relationship with food, because I look at food as a necessity and not something I just got to sit down and have this meal because I'm just going to enjoy it so much.
See, I think that's a good relationship.
Yeah, so I'm not.
As long as it has a hamburger.
So yeah, I'm a hamburger guy.
Right.
I'll give you, and that's it. I'm a cheeseburger guy.
Sure.
He knows that. Last weekend was my birthday, right? So
happy birthday.
Thank you. So we always go out to dinner, right?
Yeah.
And Michelle is my Michelle is a trained chef.
With one L.
With one L.
Yeah.
Is a trained chef, right? And she likes nice restaurants.
I don't blame her.
All right. Well, we always get to pick where we want to go for our things. You know where we go every year for my birthday? We go to the diner, and I get a cheeseburger.
That's hilarious.
And she is very disappointed.
That has to drive her nuts.
Yeah, it does. It makes her crazy.
That's great.
But I'm a that's me. I don't eat them all the time.
Sure.
But
it's not wimpy.
That's not it. That's one of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
But I don't gush over making foods. I'm the type where, okay, it's time to eat, let's eat.
Yeah, so
let me eat, get it done and over with, and I'm out the door.
Right.
Type of thing.
So you eat to live, you don't live to eat.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I would say you have a great relationship with food, it sounds like. I define it as eating for, when my clients are done, my goal is that they're eating for 2 reasons. Fun or fuel, that's what we call it. So fuel meaning it's the tools your body needs to make you the right way, which that's really what nutrition is at the end of the day. Or it's fun, meaning that it's social. The goal is not to be perfect 100% of the time. If you had to try to operate your finances, right, with no discretionary income, like you can't buy a shirt, you can't buy a stick of gum, you can't go on vacation, nothing. Operating your nutrition, habits with no discretionary calories is similar to that. So you have to kind of budget out for it.
That's a great analogy.
You can take that one if you want to. So you want to, but there's only so much you can get away with, just
Right.
like I can't go to the mall and blow my whole paycheck.
Right.
So for me, personally, I like to spend my indulgences for social things. So tomorrow on Thanksgiving, if I haven't been asked this once, I've been asked 50 times today, what do you eat on Thanksgiving? I eat whatever I want to eat. But then the other 360 whatever days, like, you tighten it up. That's all.
Right, exactly. Because it's not about, like I mentioned the Atkins diet and some of these other diets, they're very strict on what you can do and what you can't do, and you got to count things, and that makes me nuts when I see people come in and they go, oh, well, we brought our food because it has to be, like, you know what, I can't
Let
see
me ask you
living
a
like
question.
Sure.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving.
Yes.
You talked about that you can eat anything and you're going to eat anything.
I'm not
and
eating
everything.
romaine lettuce tomorrow.
And you're not eating. There won't be any of that.
But here's the thing, if you
We're all gonna
did
eat
eat romaine and you got sick, there are no calories absorbed, right? So,
Do you have recipes or something real fast that you could give the audience, like say for a side dish or a dessert that they could put together? Get a pencil and paper, everybody, and just tell somebody what they could do that will taste good, that maybe will look good, and that will be yummy.
So listen, Thanksgiving food actually is it's probably one of the healthiher holidays. Like it's turkey, it's maybe sweet potato, it's squash. It's not really terrible food. So.
Cream puffs. We get cream puffs.
Yeah, I'm Italian too. Same thing. But for the most part,
clams,
it's not terrible.
Mac and cheese.
And again, I do want everybody to kind of, for Thanksgiving or something like that, feel like they can indulge and not feel guilty about it as long as they get back on track. But if you wanted to have a few healthier options, the cauliflower stuff is super popular. So if you wanted to make mashed potatoes with cauliflower, I know it doesn't sound super exciting.
But it is pretty good.
It's surprisingly good.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a really cool side dish to make. There's a great. I hate telling people when I like things because then I can't find them in the grocery store. But I'll tell you guys. There's a great squash. It's called delicata squash. It's like a little elongated.
Delicata.
Delicata.
Okay.
It's got it's like light green. It's got dark green and yellow stripes running through it. If you slice it long ways, you scoop out the seeds and then dice it this way. It looks like little half moons. If you toss it with a little olive oil and put on a baking sheet with a little bit of Parmesan on top, and you bake it for 30-40 minutes at 400 degrees. It is freaking delicious and super healthy. So something like
That's a special delicious.
See, now everybody would be like, well, it's got cheese on it, so it's not healthy.
The Parmesan
because
cheese
of the
is-
cheese.
If you give me any food, I can argue why it's good and why it's bad. Nutrition is a lawyer's dream. There's positives and negatives to everything. You got to look at the big picture and say, are there more positives or are there more negatives?
Well, do you find, because I find this even with business owners, right? Everybody is different. Everybody's built differently. They respond differently. And I would think nutrition is so much that you see that all the time, where you can't just come out and say, here's a book, go do this, and you'll get X results.
Yes.
Right?
So I always joke around with my clients. I always say, nutrition, religion, and politics, it's all the same. Because if you're talking to somebody who's doing like keto now, which is the new cooler Atkins, or something, they're like, no, this is the be all and end all. It's very similar to talking to somebody about who they voted for, or their religion, or something that they feel very, very strong about.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, there's no one right or wrong way to do it. So what we do is we kind of like take the highlight reels, the take-home messages from all the different philosophies and all the different programs out there, and we apply it to those people in a capacity that they can handle it.
Right.
Because there is no right or wrong way. It's like a GPS. I can get, I could be rerouted 100 different ways. What's the most efficient way for me?
Right, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right, so, I'm sure, I have my cousin John, I mentioned him before the show that, the Knucklehead's going to chime in. He's on now. But, John, we're talking about eating healthy.
Thanks, John.
All right, and not overindulging. Moderation is the key, my friend. All right?
That's true.
John loves food, and everywhere John goes and posts on Facebook, it's about a food source that he's at. So
People
By
love
the
food.
way, did he hire Chris?
No, you know what? The cheapo didn't hire Chris. So.
Son of a gun.
Yeah, he's a cheapo. So.
Really?
Yeah.
He got
so
Chris so
did-
excited too.
Well, yeah, he's.
I think Chris fried his
No,
egg.
what he said was, would he come to New Jersey? He never said he was going to hire.
Well, when you ask someone if he's going to come to New Jersey and you're
Right.
living it,
So I
you
got a
would-
cousin. My cousin
you would
John lives in
think.
New Jersey.
Where in Jersey?
He actually lives.
Marlboro.
No,
Only
Hewlett.
kidding.
Hazlitt.
Hazlitt, yeah. I'll be in the New Jersey traffic tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. You're from Jersey.
I'm from Jersey.
We talked about that before the show, right? Yeah. So.
Do you do speaking engagements?
I love speaking engagements. That's my favorite thing to do.
I'm going to hook you up to somebody. We're going to hook you up to somebody.
Well, actually, yes, we are, because
who's going to use your services.
Great.
I am part of the Long Island Speakers Bureau.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
There is a Long Island Speakers Bureau.
Who knew?
Okay. And we're going to introduce you to Brian Cohen, who is the president.
He's probably listening.
Well, actually,
Brian,
he called me today. He told me he couldn't listen tonight. He was going to check in if he could. He's usually on. He's a big supporter of the show, and so we're definitely going to hook you up.
Oh, Brian Cohen's watching. He's commenting.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, how are you, buddy?
He is watching.
Yep.
Hey, Brian. You owe me a phone call. Call me tomorrow.
Yeah, no, Brian's on. Hey, Brian, how are you, bud? So, Brian, I got to introduce you to Michelle. So, she's definitely a candidate for the Speakers Bureau. With Brian, and we'll talk about that later. I get a lot of speaking engagements and things like that.
Actually, he's going to be speaking coming up when?
Oh, I got 3.
Well, just tell us one.
I got 3. I got
the one that went over so good the other day.
Well, last week, just to fill you in, Brian set up a panel discussion at a trade show on how to be a good guest on a show like this.
Oh man, that's a great one.
So it was myself, Steve Harper, radio personality Steve Harper, right?
Donna Drake.
Tim Healy, who's another radio personality.
I know Tim Healy.
Okay.
I've been on Tim's show a couple times.
All right, so you know Tim.
Yeah.
And Donna Drake.
I know Donna Drake too. I've been on her show. I've been on everyone's show.
So the 4 of us were on a panel together.
Oh, what a great panel. I wish I could have watched that.
Well, yeah, and what was good about it was my show being the longest, Tim's a little bit shorter. Steve talked about, you got 90 seconds to interview somebody, and Donna 6 minutes. So, it gave a good perspective on how we look at preparing for guests and how we get guests to be great guests when they come on, because that's our job.
There's a whole art. You guys are watching, and we make it look easy, obviously.
Yeah, of course we do.
There's a purpose for our show. It doesn't make us money. Okay, we present people that could always use some recognition out there. Everybody needs some more clients, some more business, and so on.
I did. There was a red carpet when I came out. Only red M&Ms in the dressing room. Yeah, I noticed all of those things.
I drive the limo, by the way. So when the show's over, someone else gets inside.
Someone's got to keep the lights on,
Exactly.
But so I was on a panel last week. With that, actually the panel was so well received that we're going to do it again December 13th.
I have to see that because you guys are all awesome.
And it's going to be at the Microsoft store, the training center.
Yeah.
At the Woolman Mall.
I had a meeting there recently.
Okay, so we're going to do that December 13th from 6:30 to 8:30.
That's great. I will be there.
Yeah.
You know Bill Corbett?
No, I don't know.
I know Bill Corbett.
He actually does a really good seminar helping with that, too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his business.
Yeah.
He's in the advertising
He's helped me out with a lot of things. He's great.
He's a good guy.
He puts you on the spot, and then he asks you think you know everything, and then there's the lights on you, and he asks you these questions, and you're like, oh, man.
That's what people don't realize is that sometimes when you're doing this, you're on the spot.
Yeah.
And you got to be right off the top of your head, be smooth and be able to move through this thing. It's not as easy as it looks, as you know, right? You've been on a few shows, so let's get back to you. Let's get back to what we're doing here. One of the things that I find when I'm coaching people, right, is the old. Okay, we're going to start it on Monday. All right, we're going to start We're going to start at a clean starting point. Is there ever a real good, clean starting point?
So it depends on your goal. If your goal is to start a diet, Monday's a great day. You could do that any day. Monday's a good day. If you're trying to make a lifestyle change, there's 6 other days to worry about in the week, right? So you might have every Monday down, which is great, but now you got to work on like Tuesdays.
Right.
So that's the difference between creating a lifestyle change and going on a diet. Is when you're creating a lifestyle change, you have to do this with real life things happening, which includes Thanksgiving and holidays and vacations and weekends. And the goal might not always be to necessarily lose weight every week. Maybe the goal is to do a little bit better than you might have, or maybe get right back on track after the vacation. So we look at weight more as a symptom, not necessarily a problem in and of itself, and it's a barometer. So it's very rare in school that somebody would study for the test and really understand and comprehend the material and get a bad grade. The goal is not necessarily to get a good grade.
Right.
The grade is a reflection of their understanding of the material. So weight is just a barometer of, okay, were they able to implement these concepts and implement these habits?
Okay, so you and I talked about this before the show, and I talked about the fact that there are times where I'll get into a workout routine and I'll get into the swing of it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months.
Sure.
And then something will happen where we go away.
Yeah.
Right? And it breaks the routine.
Right.
And then we come back and you're trying to catch up, so you really can't get into the routine again.
Yeah.
And you kind of fall off a little bit. But then you eventually you get back into it and start all over again. I feel like in that short time that I drop off, even though I really don't change the way I'm eating, everything goes to crap, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Is there a way or a recommendation, because it's all about balance and diet and exercise,
Sure.
right? Is there a way or a suggestion you may have that if you're a person like myself who gets into these workout routines, and when that happens, the weight comes off, everything balances out, is there a way to teach me how to maintain myself during those periods of lack of activity?
Sure. So the secret to losing weight and keep it off, I'm going to fill you guys in on this. Don't tell anybody. It's doing it in a way that's maintainable.
Right.
So if you start off going to the gym 7 days a week and you go on vacation, you're probably not going to stick back into it. But my question to you, I guess, would be, when you go on vacation and you come back, do you stop brushing your teeth? Do you stop showering? You don't stop those habits because they're so deeply ingrained. Right, exactly. Depends who you're with. I get that. But most people don't. So we want to get it that deeply ingrained. But in the interim, if you go on vacation and you notice, last time I went on vacation, when I came home, I just totally fell off my routine.
Right.
You want to kind of put that in the forefront of your mind and say, okay, well, what am I going to do now to prevent that from happening? We call that troubleshooting.
Right.
You don't. Whenever you see like a graph, you're never just going to see it go straight up. You have like these little dips, right? So whenever you spot that dip, which would be like, okay, the vacation thing kind of like set me off. Next time you're on vacation, what's going to kind of spring you up to that next level? So you are aware of that.
Eating can be like a drug.
True.
And you actually, people that are obese or whatever, personal things happen, I'm jumping into the ice cream.
Yeah.
All right, I had a fight with my boss. I'm eating 14 pounds of macaroni and cheese. All right, I'm going to do something that's going to make me feel good. And then after you eat it, you feel like crap because you shouldn't have eaten it for the time that it's going down. How do you see? Look, this is how I know.
Yeah.
Because 15 years ago, I had gastric bypass surgery. I weighed, as short as I am, 285 pounds. I lost 115 pounds from that. I have kept it off and then lost some more over the 15 years. I've had I've been sick, whatever it might be, lost a few more pounds. I'm 5'6½". I weigh 131 pounds. I used to weigh 285 pounds.
That's amazing.
So psychologically, that's a great thing. But before I had that operation, I went for psych tests. I went for all kinds of doctors, and the doctors to okay the fact that I'm ready to go and do this. But a lot of people fake it. And when we talked inside, and I told you, I witnessed people that had their operation, and right away we're talking about eating home fries and bacon.
Oh, yeah. We have people who call us just because you need to get nutritionist permission that, I tried and I couldn't do it. We get people calling us, offering us money to write these letters. I'm like, no way. People will do anything other than change their eating habits to lose weight. It's really remarkable.
And it doesn't change your eating habit because if it's not up here, it doesn't matter.
It's so true. And a lot of people who get if you, for whatever reason, you really change your eating habits, your head's in the right place, and just for whatever reason it's not happening, then that's a great option. For most people, they think, okay, once I lose the weight and I spent all this money and I went through all this stuff, that's going to motivate me. It's not. It doesn't. I've met people before who have because you can't eat. You have to liquid blended cake before, just because it's
Well, it goes back to that
Yeah.
old diet thing, right? You know, like all of these things on TV. There's like, oh, if you spend $30 a month, you'll lose 30 pounds in
Yeah.
the first 30. And it's not teaching you how to change your life to maintain it,
Yeah.
which is what the problem you saw was.
Look,
Well, that's how they change your life.
It's the
They make
quick
you
fix.
buy the food.
I get
That's
that.
what's
It changes
supposedly does it.
it changes your
Right.
life because it takes money out of your pocket and changes their life
Exactly.
because it puts money in their pocket.
30 pounds in 30 days is way more sexier than like really good eating habits. Like I get that. I get it. Trust me. I wish there was a sexier way to make that habits a thing. It's not, but you know, it works. So you could go down this path and be in the hamster wheel and be on the next thing
Right.
and lose it. But if it's the same thing over and over again, you know, go down this other path and try it a different way. And you know, it makes you really deal with things that are a problem. You know, in answer to your question, it is like a drug, and people do, you know, eat emotionally, and there's a biological reason behind that. There's the reward trigger in your brain does go off when you eat high calorie food. It was a survival thing, you know, because back in the day, if we just ate fruits and vegetables, we would have died.
Right.
You know, so anything that would prompt us to survive, like when you're really thirsty, you quench your thirst. When you're really tired, you go to sleep. That reward thing gets triggered off. So, but if you kind of understand, you know, it's not the food that I'm looking for, it's the feeling I'm getting from food. You can't break habits, but you can replace them. So you can
Right.
start, you know, incorporating other things
Right,
into
it's the
that space.
endorphins that are created
Yeah,
from the...
that's what you're looking for.
And that's what happens with a lot of people from a psychological standpoint, anxiety standpoint. They eat the food. It's the comfort food, right? Everybody
Yeah.
uses that term, comfort food. It makes them feel good. It's like phones and things like that. They trigger endorphins.
Yes.
And all of those things that make us, that's why people are always like this with their phones and they don't let them go. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're always looking at them and things like that. They're hooked on it. It's like
Exactly.
somebody texts them, they're like, oh, wow, you know, somebody's
Yeah.
paying attention to me.
It's true. And Norm, you said something, and you said, you know, and I know I shouldn't have the ice cream, you said. The second I tell you shouldn't have something,
You're going to want it. You want it.
did you like the
But
girl
it
in high
also
school?
depends who's telling it to you.
No, you telling yourself you can't do it?
Oh, that, okay.
Did you like the girl in high school that liked you or the girl that didn't like you?
The girl that didn't like me.
Right, it's how we're wired.
Yes.
You like the girl that's
She
like, ah,
still
too easy.
doesn't like me. I married her.
Right? It's always the girls. Who was better to you? The girl that treated you horribly, or the girl that treated you the right way?
Yeah.
I'm not answering that question.
Right. You know, we all know
Don't
the
get in
answer
trouble.
to that question, right?
Right.
Although we don't say it out loud. But so let me ask you this question: do you run into clients? Because I run into clients
Sure.
that are like this. You start working with them. They say they want to change, but they really don't.
No, I think everybody really wants to change,
Okay.
especially people who come in here. I really do believe that.
Well, the reason why I phrase it like that,
I know what you mean.
okay, is because they don't want to just take what you're telling them to do and do it. They want to take their ideas, implement them, and show you that they knew what they were talking about in the first place.
I could see that in your realm for sure. As a
Right.
business owner, also, I could see that because you know a lot of business owners there's like the touch of ego. I
Right.
would imagine, right? With us, I do believe people really want it. I feel as though if people, I say this all the time, trust the process. If you trust
Right.
our process and you're going in, and we say this all the time, and at this point we've kind of come across all the obstacles, so we kind of, we put it out there before they put it out there. We can anticipate pretty much what people are going to say before they say it, so we really tried to make sure that that doesn't come up so much. I think a lot of times people are so scorned. It's like somebody, you know, a relationship is a relationship. If you know, if one of your friends has been in bad relationship after bad relationship with like another person, they're going to be a little, they're going to be a little scorned. They're going to be
Right.
a little hesitant to jump back in the waters.
You get these people that, you know, they've tried this diet and that diet
yeah,
and this
they
diet.
have no reason
and
to believe
nothing's
that
worked.
we're going to do.
You know,
yeah.
why are you so different? Why are you going to, you know, help me get to a different place? I run into the same thing.
Yeah.
With business owners,
I'm sure.
you know, because there are so many guys out there running around today going, I'm going to save your business and I'm going to give you so much business that you don't know what to do with it and things like
Love
that.
to have that problem.
Yeah, right, yeah, right. And
That's not a problem.
well, and that's why my book is, you know, titled Confessions of a Business Coach.
I'm excited to read your book, by the way. I'm going to read it tonight.
Sales isn't, you know, is just.
What's
not a
the
good
name of your
marketing
book?
plan. It's Confessions of a Business Coach.
And where can people get it?
People can get it on Amazon.
Really?
Yes,
All they got to
they
do
can.
is go to
Amazon.
Wow.
You can either look up my name, Darren Sayafi, or you can look up Confessions of a Business Coach. Sales is more than a good marketing plan. And that's what that's what my book's about, is the fact that you need these systems in place. You need to be doing all the right things.
But that's
because you can get tons of sales in, but if you can't support it and you can't do it right, what happens? Everything goes awry.
Yeah.
Same thing with eating, right? If you take in all this food and if you don't do it the right way, you blow up like a balloon.
I had the operation, not because I chose to. I mean, I did.
I was going to say, what did they do? Did they like, did they?
No,
Yeah.
my daughter said to me, "Dad, I'm pregnant. You're going to have your first grandchild, and you're going to be dead."
Oh, man, harsh.
Wow, yeah.
Exactly like that.
Damn.
If she's listening, it's God's honest truth. You're not going to be here. You're so heavy. All right, and I was. I mean, think about football player, 285 on an offensive or defensive line.
But they're 6'5".
I'm 2'2", and I was 285 pounds.
Yeah.
So I went and I took care of it right away.
I have a question. If you felt at this point, if you changed your habits, do you think you could have done it without surgery?
No,
Really? Okay.
no.
Just curious.
I could. I mean, I had lost 30 pounds at a time, and then again, it's yo-yo.
Yeah. Oh, I wish
You know,
I wish you came to us first. I feel like you could have.
Well,
but
if you
listen,
were
got
around
there.
at that time,
I know.
Who told you to be so young?
Sorry. Oh man. I love you.
So, and she blames me because she's so young.
You should have waited longer. I don't know.
But that goes back to what we were talking about, right? People, unfortunately, in our day and age, they want this instant satisfaction, and I'm not saying that's what you got, right? But they're looking for the quick fix.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times, you had it 15 years ago, 16 years ago that you had the surgery. That was, and it was fairly new at that point.
Yeah, very.
Right? So it was, okay.
And I had the full surgery. I didn't have the band. I had the full blown out surgery.
Yeah, they didn't have the band. 15
So
years
we
ago, I
didn't.
think.
So it wasn't a matter of he didn't try anything else, because he just talked about how he used to, bounce
Yeah.
up and down. But he thought, okay, this is the only way now to get it, because there was nobody really to work with them. See, that's, again, it goes back to what we were talking about. Business coaching, people think, oh, I'm going to hire a coach for a month and I'll be with them for that month and then I can go out on my own. No.
Yeah.
Right?
You can be here a little longer.
I mean, you look at all these pro athletes, they always have a coach. And they're making millions of dollars because they always have a coach by them. And I'm not saying you're going to make millions of dollars working with me, or you're going to lose hundreds of pounds. You probably will lose hundreds of pounds working with Michelle.
From aggravation.
But, from aggravation. But, it's having somebody there that when you run into those roadblocks, you can call them up and talk to them, and,
You got to help her. You got to team person.
you got to help her. Right? And
we're not going to say, the I don't want to say cheesy. I do want to say cheesy. The things you've heard 100 times before,
Yeah.
and you're not, when you call, sometimes you really shouldn't eat that. Like, yeah,
Well,
we really try to really kind of put it in context for you and really kind of give you the tools to start to think differently and really act differently.
Now, and I see this all the time too, if they're surrounded by people that are negative to where they want to go, how do you help them adjust to that?
So, I'm Italian, half Italian. My mom's Italian, right? So, she might say, "Oh my gosh, maybe you're putting on a few pounds, but then, oh, are you sad? Do you want to eat something?"
Yeah.
And then they're offended when you do. So especially Thanksgiving, if there's a family dynamic there.
Food is always the answer to any problem with Italians.
Especially in an Italian house.
I didn't stand a chance, man. I had to be a nutritionist. So yeah, with that, I always flip it to health. So, if I'm out to dinner with you and I decide I just don't want dessert, right? And you're like, "Oh no, come on, you can afford it. Like,
Here's a spoon.
come on, just have it." People do try to sabotage sometimes. That happens. And if you say to that person, "Oh, I'm watching my weight," they'll be like, "Oh no, it's fine." But if you say, "You know what? I'm really trying to keep an eye on my blood sugar. I'm really concerned about my health." Who the hell's going to be the jerk that's like, "No, still have it"?
But you got to try it. Just have a taste.
Actually, we have one person watching tonight that would do that. Right, John?
John.
I love you, John.
That's New Jersey, John?
That's
New
New
Jersey
Jersey,
John.
It's John from Hazlitt. who, he's a big WFAN guy, so he calls it. So if you're ever listening to WFAN, you hear John from Hazel. He's John from Hazel.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, listen. But if but like I said before, if you want to indulge, you can. But it's got to be your choice. Food and control go very hand in hand. Nobody can physically open up your mouth and put something in it.
It's almost like that addict, right? The alcoholic in that when they go out, like. You get these alcoholics go, I can't be around alcohol at all. That's the wrong. To me, that's the wrong approach.
Alcohol is a little different from what I don't have any experience in this, so don't quote me on it. But you can completely eliminate alcohol from your life and be fine. Like the AA model works really well. You can't eliminate food from your life, so you have to strike a balance with that. And it's a lot more socially acceptable to cut out alcohol than cut out like food entirely.
But what my point is that you're going to be around people that overindulge.
Sure.
Okay, in food. Yeah. And you're going to be no matter what, you're going to be in situations where alcohol is going to be involved, and either people are going to try to pressure you to do what they're doing, right, or overindulge in it. And like you said, you have to have the strength to say, you know what, no, it's not where I'm going, or, I got these things.
Yeah.
And
see, with the gastric bypass, you're not supposed to have liquor. Because it goes automatically into your blood system.
Oh, wow. So you must be a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to be real careful.
Yeah,
you got to be real careful that if you have a drink, you got to nurse that puppy.
Yeah.
So you can hold it in your hand so people aren't making fun of you. Hey, look at him, he's not drinking. Yeah. But you want to have that drink. So it's either going to be water, it's going to be seltzer, or it's going to be vodka. You can have the drink,
right?
But you can have the ice cream,
right?
And you can have the mac and cheese, and you can have everything else, but portion it. They tell you have a half a cup, no more than a half a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you take the whole container, you put it on your lap. Right, the TV is on, and I'll just take. This is this is a spoonful. How many spoonfuls? Hey, by the way, how many spoonfuls to a half a cup?
I always, it's that thing where
when the container's gone.
They talk about caffeine all the time, cutting back on your caffeine.
Sure.
Only have 1 cup of coffee. So you know what I did? I went and bought a big cup. Right, so that's my 1 cup.
Giant
right,
yeah. I mean, look, when I said budget before, right? And what we do is we actually have a budget system, so we can clearly define what's considered an indulgence, and I could tell you very accurately how many of those things you can get away with and still hit your goal.
Right.
So it's just like a real budget. So if you guys have $500 to spend for the month, you can spend it however you want.
Right.
But you don't want to go into debt, right? Or some nutritional debt. So if you want to have that ice cream, go for it. But then, if that means you might be going over budget and be in nutritional debt if you have Thanksgiving or you go out on the weekend, it might make you rethink how you budget yourself out next week.
Right.
There are other businesses like yours, or people that claim to do what you do. Now, we understand there's no one like you. We get it. What makes you and your ladies, soon to be hopefully a guy,
Yes.
so
You need a guy.
different as compared to other people? And it's not, your personality is second to none. You and I, with Timmy, who I met your husband,
Fiance.
We know each other right from the get-go. When I saw what you did for a living, and when just a few words of conversation, I knew you'd be a hit.
Oh, thank you.
On this show, and I wasn't wrong. And we would love to have you come back again.
Thank you. I'd love
to.
But
what makes you? What makes you and your other gals different? Is there anything special?
No. I'm kidding.
That's good.
I'm just kidding. No, it's really our approach and our methodology and our,
attitude.
I have to say, I have the best staff in the world. My girl, they really care. I don't require them to answer emails or answer text messages or answer phone calls at random hours, but they just do because they really care. And when I interview people, I could teach you anything about nutrition. I could teach you anything about our process. I can't teach you to really, truly, deeply care about somebody. And my staff really, really does. They go above and beyond to the point where, somebody might normally have the reaction of, oh my God, I had such a bad week. I don't want to come in this week. My clients and all of my staff's clients, they will be like, I had the worst week. I have to come in. I have to talk to them because they really get what we're trying to do and they really get the process and they really trust and believe that we're going to make them
So is it
successful.
almost like a therapy session when they come in?
with some, it depends on the client and what they're struggling with. For the people who are emotional eaters, that's a big piece of it.
Because I get the same thing. I get some clients that they just want to use me as somebody to talk to because they can't talk to their employees about what's going on.
Interesting.
Sometimes they have...
That's how I use my business partner. Like, he's like my therapist all the time.
Right, and their spouses at home, it's a little
They don't want to hear it anymore.
They don't want to hear it anymore. So they kind of use me as that therapist. You know, Michelle tells me all the time, she goes, you should have a shingle on the wall because you're doing therapy most of the time with a lot of your clients. You know, we laugh about it, but it really
but you
is.
have Michelle.
Right. Well,
you know, we all have somebody.
Yeah, but she turns around, she doesn't want to hear it anyway.
Yeah, well,
and it's hard, you know.
Me, so.
If you don't own a business, it's really hard to understand. You know, it really is, and you can empathize, but when you're in it and the dynamics and all the things that come with it that nobody tells you, it's challenging. So to have somebody like you, where you've heard it all, you've seen it all, you get it, and you could, even if they're just reassured that this is normal.
Right. Yeah, and that's a big thing. A lot of times I go in and I go, your situation is not unique. You know, I keep telling everybody thinks that their situation is unique to what's going on.
Their business is totally
it really
different.
isn't.
Right.
So let me ask you this question. Out of all the time you've been doing this, and you've been doing this for a while, what has been your most difficult case? I don't want to say
That's
case.
That's a great question.
Your most difficult client to really get them to do everything they
Success story.
Success story, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it could be because I've had clients that at the end of the day I just couldn't help them because they didn't want to help themselves.
Yeah. So
you know?
I think at this point our program really is geared towards preventing that from happening. But you still have those people who are just so set in their ways, and I had a conversation with somebody recently, and if she's watching, I will never say her name, but I said to her, because I was like, do you believe this is a reality for you? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you actually picture yourself at that destination? Do you picture yourself, the weight that you want to be, have the relationship with food that you want, or are you just kind of like here going through the motions? I just kind of called her out on it.
Right.
And she thought about it for a second, and she was like, no, I don't. So I was like, that's your problem, because I could make this a reality for you. I have not a question in my mind, but if you don't believe it, like you're just doing something to say you're doing something. And that really clicked for her. That was like a moment for her, I could tell. And like, now that she has the confidence, and now I feel like her actions are in line with her goals because she's conducting herself in a way where she actually believes this is a possibility for her.
Right, and that's sometimes the hardest thing, is getting that alignment.
Yes.
And getting people to line up. That's something that I always run into.
Yes.
Is because the alignment's always off. That's why
Right.
they come to us, right?
Yes.
Is try to get them back into alignment.
We're starting to get late into the program, and I want people to know how to get in touch with you again.
Me too.
So
Yes.
let's give everybody
'cause we're actually
your
flying
phone number
through. We're almost
twice,
done.
Fast.
and then the email address,
Sure.
the website address.
Sure. So you can call us at 516-813-6698. Again, that's 516-813-6698. You can visit us at nutrishmish.com, which is NUTRISHMISH. You can email us at appointments@nutrishmish.com or Michelle@nutrishmish.com with 2 L's. I actually get all the emails for @nutrishmish.com, so whatever you screw it up, I'll still get it. And also on our social media, we're on Instagram @nutrishmish. My personal one is @nutrishmish off the clock, and our Facebook page and YouTube and all those other fun things.
How many offices do you have?
We have 6.
You have 6 offices?
Yes.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
But,
tired.
But you're not just confining yourself to Long Island, right? You will work with everybody nationally.
Yeah.
So, guys, wherever you are,
And
or
we are
internationally,
national. You're watching this show
Yeah.
nationally.
That's awesome.
and internationally. So if you want to get in touch with Michelle at Nutrish Mish, all her information is there.
If you're fat and live in Sweden,
If you're fat and living
Actually, if they live in Europe, they're probably way better than we are. They have a way better food system there.
are you tired of eating fish?
If you struggle, if you're in the dieting cycle, anybody who struggles with food or anyone who doesn't know what to do, that's a great client for us. My favorite client is the chronic dieter. So if you've been in the hamster wheel forever, and if you have been, you know what I'm talking about.
It's funny. I just had I'm doing and I'll talk about it in a little while, but I'm speaking at the Miller Business Center in December, and they asked me to write a little blurb about, to get people interested in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that, do you feel like you're running on ice? Do you feel like you're stuck? It's the same thing. It's the same concepts.
Yes.
So, whether you work with me or you work with Michelle, we can take those concepts and apply them to the rest of your life and really help yourselves get those balance that you need.
Yeah.
So, Yeah,
it's in the middle
absolutely.
lane, not no all or
Absolutely.
nothing.
So before we go, Michelle, give us one tip, right, for the holiday season.
Yes.
That's going to get us through, because you know what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to see this and they go, you know what? I'm going to call her in January.
Don't call me in January. Call me now.
call now. Start working on it today.
Yeah.
So when January comes, you're not sitting there going, oh wait, next week.
You know what's funny? I'm a numbers freak, and I always look at our stats. The people who do the best start in November, because they start at one of the hardest times of the year, and then
What
it
a
just
great
gets easier.
sales pitch.
It's true.
We got one more week to go in November. Now the phones are going to ring off the hook.
It's true.
And we're going to have Black Friday specials, right?
Yes,
Michelle
yes.
told me
Black
about that
Friday is
before.
my favorite holiday, so
Business
we're going to
Power
celebrate.
Hour special. When you call up,
Mention
Right.
Business Power Hour.
Right.
But,
Mention the business power.
In answer to your question, the one tip I would give people for the holidays is whatever you do the majority of the time, that's what's going to be impactful. So, if you have Thanksgiving's one day, so if you have one awful day, you're eating everything, and then you have 6 good days, you're still going to have a good week. It's the leftovers. So my advice is try to throw out anything that once the party's over, get rid of all of the junk that you don't need at the house. The next thing that people say to me is, well, that's a waste of money. You've spent more money, I guarantee you, I don't know who you are, but I guarantee you spent more money over the course of your life through gym memberships and weight loss programs and insurance than the $7 of cake that you have left over. So it's a bigger waste of money if you eat it than if you throw it in the garbage.
There you go. Great piece of advice.
do you have any special events coming up that you want to tell anybody about?
We just started our small group class, but we're going to have another enrollment for it, which is a small group really designed to kind of almost like a mastermind program for people who really want to dive in a little bit deeper. We have a couple seminars coming up, which you can kind of see on our website. But for right now, just the Black Fridays. I'm just focused on Black Friday. That's my favorite holiday. I go out and I shop. That's like my sport.
Do you really?
Love it.
Wow, you're crazy. All right, Michelle. Well, thank you for being on the
Thank
show.
you so much. It's really been a
It
pleasure.
was a pleasure,
It
guys.
was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you.
Tell Timmy I said hi.
I definitely will. I hope he's watching.
Great. Good. And recommend us to some of your business associates.
I definitely
Appreciate
will,
it.
for sure.
Great.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well,
Happy
first,
Thanksgiving.
Norm, you got some things coming
Yeah,
up.
we got stuff.
So,
Tell everybody what's going on.
So with Norm, if you want to get a hold of Norm, you can get a hold of Norm at Friend Entertainment, right? That's friendentusa.com. 631-698-9696. November 30th, the John Fogerty
Next
Show.
Saturday
Right.
night.
That's in Belmore, right?
Next Saturday night,
That's in
tickets are
Belmore.
going crazy. I think we have
$25
about
a ticket.
40 seats left
Really?
in the room.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really doing
That's
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you got going on? You said something about you're going to be
Actually,
speaking?
yes. There's a charity that I'm involved with, and because it affected me as a child, my mom died when I was 10 years of age. It's called Camp Good Morning, MOURNING.
And that's one of the friends of our show. They were on our show.
All right,
Yep.
and they will be back on our show. They had asked if I would host bingo. So I said, yeah. I mean, I never did a bingo. I'm so nuts. Bingo and I will get along great.
Right.
So we're going to do bingo on December 2nd, and it's going to be in Hicksville, and it'll be posted up on my website so everybody can get the information. Or just call me at 631-698-9696. Also, this is the time of year when charities are planning what they're going to do for next year and for the year after in regards to raising money for their charity, to do something new, to do something exciting and something different. Give me a call, 631-698-9696, and let me explain how I can help you like I've done for others over 30 years. Great. That's it.
Fantastic.
And have a
All
great
right.
holiday.
Yeah, and I got on December 5th, the Miller Business Center. I'm going to be doing a talk about building the business owner's roadmap. If you're stuck, just like we were just talking about, okay, if you're stuck in your business, you don't know how to, get it going, or if you're just starting a business, come on down. I'm going to give you 7 simple steps, give you some clarity on how to move your business forward in a very systematic way. If anything, you're going to walk away with a better appreciation on how it should be done. Maybe not all the steps to get it done, but a great starting point for you to get to that next level. So join me on December 5th. You can go to my website, and the information's on there. My website is cbms.co.
That's co, right?
.co, right? No M at the end of that, and it's 631-721-4347, or on Facebook, CBMS Consulting, all one word. Also, I didn't tell you this. We talked about the December 13th thing, but I was invited to the inaugural local authors showcase at the Middle Country Public Library because I do have a book, as you mentioned, Confessions of a Business Coach. Sales is more than
They're
a
putting it
marketing
in
plan.
there?
I'm actually going to be one of the featured authors that are going to be there. So
Cool.
that's December 7th from 5:30 to 7:30. Come down, meet me, get a copy of the book. I can talk to you about it a little bit. We can, have a little chit chat. Would love to see you guys down
Bring
there.
a blank check.
Bring a blank check,
and,
right?
And
yeah.
we'll sign you up.
We'll sign you up, right? We'll get you going on the show too. So other than that, I got a couple other things coming up, but I think it's a little too early to announce those. Let's just worry about December now.
Let's
worry
get
about
through Thanksgiving.
Yeah, let's have a great Thanksgiving. So
Great.
you, my friend, have a great Thanksgiving. Michelle, have a great
All
Thanksgiving.
the best.
You
Michelle,
too.
thank you again for
Thank
coming.
you. Pleasure.
We wish you the best.
Yeah.
God bless you and your families. Have a safe, wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thanks
Bye,
for joining
everybody.
us. Good night, everybody.
Today's show is brought to you by Friend Entertainment USA, producing the best concerts for charities and corporations for over 30 years. And CBMS Consulting Services. Control your business before it controls you. In association with Area 22 Productions, your multimedia streaming network. If you're interested in being a guest on our show, visit our website at www.bphdmm.com for more information.